What is going on, y'all? Gamers Goon here today with draft day number 4, the conclusion of the NFL Combine. We are going to go over some of the winners of day number 4. We will not be talking about any of the quarterbacks because what is there to really say? Nobody really shined. Obviously, Cam Ward and Shedeur didn't participate. Jackson Dart did. Other than that, it would just be a lot of criticism, and I don't really feel like it's really worth talking about that in this video. But we do have some guys that either help solidify their spots or guys that I think might have moved up, because there were some guys here in the offensive line class that slid down a little. I'm talking about those interior offensive linemen. Tyler Booker didn't really help his case, so there's some other guys that might be able to step in and move up. The first guy we are going to talk about is Tate Ratledge. Now let me pull up everybody as a whole here on the results page. But Tate Ratledge ran a sub 5. He ran, where was he? A 4.97. A 4.97. He's one of the top guards, so he's a more mobile guard. And he ranked number 1 at the Combine in athleticism testing. A 9.5 broad jump, a 32 vert. Pretty good there. 172 10-yard split. But out of the guards, he clearly was the most athletic out of the group. So you're looking at him probably there as, I don't know if he'll be the first round guard. It still might be Tyler Booker, but Tate Ratledge made a pretty good case for himself to at least be a day 2 pick. And that's kind of what we were talking about with this guard class. It's a lot of guys that just really haven't really separated themselves in terms of what they've put on tape. So the Combine was really important for this guard class, and one that it might do a lot for is Tate Ratledge. Could it do enough to maybe jump him over Tyler Booker? I don't know, because Tyler Booker's kind of been the one that everybody's locked in and said, hey, he's the number 1 guard. He's going to be the one that goes first round. You know, one of these interior offensive linemen are going to go first round. They always do. If somebody gets taken way ahead of where the PFF rankings have them, or where where some of these draft experts have them, right? The Daniel Jeremiahs, those type of guys. Mel Kiper. Those guys will have probably Tate Ratledge down towards, I don't know, right? They might say they have him at like 64. But that doesn't mean he can't be a first-round pick. We've seen it before with teams desperate for the interior offensive line. So Tate Ratledge, big boost to his draft stock. I think he probably locked in at worst an early round 3, but I think he definitely locked in something good for his draft stock in the first 2 days. Next, we get to another one that kind of fits the mold of somebody we thought could potentially be a top 20 pick, and he proved that he was. And that's the offensive tackle out of Missouri. A lot of hype around him. Armand Membou, he ranked number 1 in the Combine as well. A 4.91 40, pretty good stuff. 10-yard split was 174. A vertical of 34, a broad jump of 9.7. Pretty good stuff there from Membou. Showed out that a lot of these guys actually here that I'm naming showed out that they have the athleticism to potentially be one of those elite offensive linemen. Now, just because they test well at the Combine, I want to point this out, does not mean that these offensive linemen are going to be good in the NFL. Membou, if I had to guess, probably would be. But you see every year, these offensive linemen that go high, not everybody works out. Look at Andrew Thomas. Look at Mekhi Becton. He had to bounce around a little bit. Guys that are considered these first-round guys, Just because you have a good combine or you've had good tape in college doesn't ensure anything. Next, we'll just take the cat out of the hat or the bag or whatever kind of phrase you want to say. Jared Wilson, the center out of Georgia. Jared Wilson, the center out of Georgia. Not somebody I would have expected to be on this list. If you look at his prospect grade of 5.83, which means, hey, you're probably a special teams guy or you're probably a backup. Then he goes out and he runs a 40 of 484. Now, you might not know what that means, but that means this guy, just to put that in perspective, I'm going to go to the tight ends this year in the 40. He ran a faster one than, he ran the exact same, actually, as Gunnar Helm, a very popular tight end in this year's class. The exact same. While speed doesn't necessarily mean much on the line, he was one of the better centers in this class. In a weak center class, we talk about this interior offensive line just being weak in general in this class. You're looking at probably converting some tackles into guards, stuff like that, right? He was probably the best true center, unless you want to maybe talk about McLaughlin at Ohio State. And he puts up numbers that say, hey, I'm not just solid on tape, I'm an elite level athlete. And usually with these guys, these guys that floating around the middle rounds, putting up elite numbers at the combine, we kind of mentioned it already, pushes you up the board. So Jared Wilson, don't be surprised if he's the first center off the board now. So definitely watch out for him. Then we'll talk about the lesser of the next group, but somebody here that let me bring up his numbers. We're going to talk about Gray Zabel. They haven't benched yet, by the way, just so everybody knows. Gray Zabel did not run a 40, so we don't have a number on that. But the NFL.com ranks him as the first in production, fifth in athleticism testing. Broad jump 36.5, vertical jump 36.5, broad jump 9 and 3. You look at how he measured up: 32 arms, 9.5 hands. Came in average NFL weight 312. Just comes in as a guy that you say, you know what? I can see it. You can see it when you go out and you put some good numbers on the board in your vertical jump testing. You can see it when you go out there and you put up some good broad jump numbers. Now, for this situation or this group, you're also going to really want to look to see the bench press numbers. Those numbers are not out yet, but you're going to want to see those numbers as well. And that's just Gray Zabel, that's everybody. For example, Tyler Booker, dead last in broad, third last in vert. Some little bit of concerns there with Booker. Not to say you can't be a good player with having a bad combine, but that leaves room for some of these guys that can maybe move in to being the third offensive lineman off the board, and that would put somebody like Gray Zabel at an advantage. Definitely shows, hey, I got the talent to be a first-round pick, so we'll see what it does with him. And then you got Kelvin Banks and Will Campbell, the big two, right? Kelvin Banks, pretty impressive day at the combine, tested out well athletically. You look at a guy here, a 5'16", 40, not great. A 1.79, 10-yard, pretty solid. 32 vert, 8.8 broad jump, not great. 3 cone was a 7.81, 20-yard shuttle, 4.66. But just an overall well-rounded day. You're like, hey, he probably secured being that second guy off the board. But the one that I want to talk about the most is the guy that I think secured definitely as the number one. if there was any debate between Kelvin Banks and Will Campbell, it was eliminated. Will Campbell, a 4.98 40, a 1.76 10-yard split, 32 vert as well, a 9.5 broad jump. Tested 4th overall in terms of his athletic scoring at the Combine. Just a really good player that we all knew was probably going to be the first tackle. Put it on show there at the Combine today. So there you have it. Those are the guys that stood out in terms of the Combine. Otherwise than that, let me know down below who you thought had a good Combine. But it's fun seeing some of these guys run pretty fast for a big man. So I'll see you next time, and make sure you like and subscribe.